one of the most important things is like João can come down and give me instant feedback quick. Maybe there's 3 or 4 common trends that João's picked out using the Bepro cameras, and he can come down and we can review that in depth and then go and deliver that back to the players at half time. That's a great asset to have. My name is Ian Birchnell. I'm the head coach at Notts County Football Club.
I'm João Alves and I'm first team tactical analyst at Notts County Football Club.
The importance of having an analyst in the coaching staff is huge. Not only just to look at the games back, but also reflect on the training. Also having somebody that sits in the stand that's kind of understands what I want and what I want to look for every game, every training, and then be the connection between that material and the players. So when João understands how I see the game and how I would want my team to set up, it makes it much easier for him to be able to operate.
It's important to know what he's looking at. If I don't have that, it's very hard to actually show him what he wants. The goal is to look at the game kind of through his eyes a little bit. That's why the connection is important and why it's important to know exactly what we're after, because then I can just go and look for it and take a bit of load off of Gaffer's plate and deliver it to the players a bit. We're always in touch. We're always quite clear on what we're after and what's good behaviour, what's behaviour that we want to improve.
For me, stop. This is no-brainer. Here, here, and we just come out and all the spaces on this side, but we've played 3-4 passes all on the same side. Before I went out to Norway, I visited around a few clubs and spoke to different managers and a couple of the managers that were working in the Premier League. And one of the things that they said is one of the biggest, the most important roles is the relationship with the analysts, because they are the ones that are going to be able to give some of the most important feedback to the players on a daily basis. So, you know, that role is hugely important within the group.
If you can watch things as a team and as individual with certain coaches and what things that you're working on, it's a massive advantage. I mean, João, we've just been speaking with him then, he always sends me clips of certain strikers who sort of similar or we want that sort of movement and things, and the Gaffer's sent me videos as well on the Bepro, certain strikers, what he wants.
Without seeing what you're doing, you don't know how you're going to progress. You don't know what to progress in. And with them being able to analyse it with you and give it a detailed reaction of what you're analysing, I'm learning stuff at 30, which I'm happy about. If I'm going to stay ahead of youngsters coming into the team, ahead of everyone else, I need to know that I've got these tools available to use.
On a weekly basis, we have big group meetings, obviously with reflections of last game and then opposition analysis for upcoming games. So they're normal. But on top of that, we have small group meetings, so unit meetings, defence, midfield, attack. But then on a daily basis, myself and João, the analyst, will look at training. We'll go back through the training sessions. We'll maybe clip bits of that to be able to send or show players the next day. And also use it in one-to-one meetings. Both myself and the other coaching staff on board will also be active in terms of clipping certain players, positions, roles, responsibilities, just to try to break the game down and give as much feedback as possible to the players. So they're not coming in and the only coaching they get is on the pitch.
It's a cycle. So I do post-match after a game. So we go day to day. So we'll go before the session. We'll get together. We'll look at whatever happened in the game and what we want to push to the players as a group, then what we want to push to the players individually. I'll then go to the training ground. I'll have a look at what's being done. I found it very helpful to know exactly what's being done in a training session, because that blends in with what we're trying to do as analysts. I'll get the recordings done, then we'll come back, we'll review training whenever there's interesting tactical behaviours, and then I'll start then looking at opposition analysis and pushing out bits with individual players. And again, it's a cycle. It's constant feedback, and it just goes, we've done this. If we've done well, why was it that we've done it well. So we try to give them that platform, that base of this is why it's good. So then it becomes clear as a behaviour what we want. And then same with when it's bad. If it's bad, why is it bad? So if the game starts to stretch, what's causing that to stretch? How can we correct it? If the game's nice and compact and we keep it as we want it, then what's the reasons for that and what's impacted their structure and what's given us success?
I came into first team football about 8 or 9 years ago now, and the technology has really evolved since then. Monday Night Football graphics that were there a few years ago are starting to become much easier and much more accessible at probably a lower cost. So you can make the visual aids for the players so much stronger.
If we keep playing same side and clip long, I don't think it's to our advantage. And now look, Vinny's dropped, Cal's a little high, and then maybe we don't land on it well enough in here.
We all analyse a game, even years and years ago before this sort of technology. The old school recorder and fast forward and rewind was there. Everybody was looking into the game to try and get a margin. But I think it's become more accessible, quicker with the feedback loops. You know, with filming the games live at half time, Zhao can come down and give me instant feedback quick. Maybe there's 3 or 4 common trends that Zhao's picked out using the Bepro cameras, and he can come down and we can review that in depth and then go and deliver that back to the players at half time. I think that's a great asset to have. We can have the same on the training ground because we're filming it. So I just think that it massively is kind of sped up and gave more depth to the coaching process.
I second all of that. So in terms of technology, for sure. And then the knowledge actually, I think, increased in the past, 10 years. And there's a lot more people and a lot more knowledge available. And then it's improved players' experience as well, because we're giving them a platform to, this is what you do specifically to have a good game. And I think that clarity as well has improved.
He's that tight in the box. It only takes that.
Yeah, and then you're gone.
That guy nearly just scores. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Years ago, I went into clubs and they were needing 3, 4, 5 analysts, and we probably getting that kind of quality of work with less personnel now, which means that you can go further down the leagues with maybe less finances behind you, but still get good quality analysis done. You want to have things that push your work, so we want to have more things to work on. So the more advanced you get with the technology, the more access to stuff you have. But certainly it makes us more efficient in terms of, if you take an overall season and the ability to get all of your messages across, the more information you can get to the players in a shorter space of time means that you're more efficient with that. It allows us to give stronger, clearer feedback to the players quicker, to make our overall process of developing the team much more efficient. Almost everybody spends a lot of time looking at their smartphone. So I guess to be able to have access to all the things that you need and the information around an upcoming game at your fingertips on your smartphone is a huge benefit, really, so that it's so accessible for the players. There's no excuse really for not being aware of opposition or your own strengths and weaknesses or your own reflections on the last game. So I think it gives that accessibility, and it stops players only being spoon-fed, waiting for a big group video analysis or one-to-one. They can take some of the initiative on the analysis themselves and have opinions on it, which is great.
When you can see it and you can watch it over again, it's a massive help for me anyway. You could be sat at home just on your sofa thinking, I'll have a look click on the Bepro app straight away, and there you go. You can look at your individual clips, you can watch the full game back, or you can watch the defensive clip, set piece clips. It's great.
I have 2 kids. I have things to do. It's not just as easy as, I'm going to, I've got a cup of tea in my hand, there's 3 hours to spare, I'll just whip up my laptop. No, it's like sometimes I have to watch a bit here, watch a bit there. And the convenience of that is so good. By the end of my Sunday, I've watched what I needed to do.
It becomes very clear when you've got pictures, basically. And if the players can see them, you can be a lot more certain that they understand exactly what you're trying to put across. The Bepro cameras, they're very important to us in the sense that they help us get the pictures, have a nice platform where you can just store stuff and share stuff with the players as well. So it all just filters into that one platform, rather than me having it on different folders on my laptop, external USB drives. I don't actually have to man the camera. So they've installed the cameras there with the training ground one's got decent vantage. The stadium, definitely really good vantage as well. So that's one of the struggles I used to have before Bepro, was to see the stuff that I needed to see while operating the camera. It became very clear that I was either going to do one or the other well. I ended up analysing better than filming, if I'm honest.